What's up guys, Loschmeister here, and I'm back at it again with another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. So this is my Phantom Knight Adventure deck that I've been playing for the past 2-ish months. Maybe 3. Kind of been messing around and trying out different builds. And this is what I settled on. I feel like it's optimal with both mathematically, just like with the extenders and so on and so forth. And all that. Unfortunately, it's kind of unplayable going into this new format with Darkwing Blast coming out because Bisted essentially renders this deck irrelevant, just single-handedly. You play against it, it's an auto loss, which really sucks. But you know, it's been fun and time to switch into something new. But I figured I'd show you guys what I believe is the optimal build for it, and I'll explain things as we go. And yeah, just hop right into it. So, for the main deck, start off with 3 Torn Scales. Pretty obvious, you gotta play 3 Torn Scales. The one that a lot of people I don't see doing is 3 Ancient Cloak. For me, I don't understand why people aren't playing 3, because you need literally just a Phantom Knights that's not Greaves, and an Extender, and you have full combo. And so I never understood why people were only playing 2, because it's like, it's never dead. Like, maybe if you have 2, okay, but if you have 2 of any of the other PKs, it's also a brick, like, technically. So to me, it just didn't make sense. So I played 3. It's worked out great. Oops, sorry. 3 boots as well. And then the Greaves and gloves. So gloves is actually kind of good, both for making Redoer like 3k. Well, 34 technically, and that kind of stuff's kind of nice. Greaves comes up every now and then. He ends up being a brick more than not, honestly. But the times that he's pulled me out of with like having 2 of the non-summoning, like say I have Scales and Cloak in hand, and then I have like Foolish Burial, I can Foolish send Greaves and then just play the game. Because then Greaves can banish to summon one of them. It comes up enough that it's useful, and I like it. So for the extenders. Oops, sorry. So you play Dangers, because they're super good, and you can draw cards, and then Terratop and Taka Tomborg now. The only reason I'm playing this is because, so like technically this can be a brick and suck sometimes, but because Griffin Rider is a wind, if you just start your combo off with summoning Griffin Rider, or say you just have the full adventure stuff first, then he's a free special summon, and it doesn't even matter, and it's great. We also play Seer and Graph. This is kind of mandatory to play this. It's part of the main combo. It sucks because they're also kind of bricks. I mean, like, drawing Graph isn't the worst, but seeing Seer is way, way worse. So that's also why we're playing 46 cards to try to mitigate seeing bricks, per se, while also maximizing on what we actually need. So, more extenders. Playing the Psychic package. 2-1 is right. In my opinion, I don't think you'd ever play 3 Wielder. And then this card's not good enough. It's an extender, but it's not good enough to be more than 1. Like, it's just fine. And then the Kagemusha Knights. I prefer this because you normal summon a lot, or like you will be at least normal summoning something, and he comes up quite a bit. And then the reason he's also better than the Psychics is because if you open... say you open 2 of the non-summoning themselves PKs, like Torn Scales or Cloak, you can, if you have Rhoda, you can just Rhoda for Kagemusha Knight, and then you have combo. Kind of extenders, but mainly just the adventure package. So you got yourself the 3 Enchantress, because you need 3 of her. I've seen people playing her at 2 for some reason, and I cannot understand why for the life of me, because she's an extender. If you open 2, it's not dead. She's an extender on top of the full combo. Obviously, the one Griffin Rider. We're not playing Illegal Knight. I do have an Illegal Knight, but in testing, he just bricked too much. He's funny if you side him in. Like, you can side him in, like, if you play him in the side deck, you just go to game 2, and then you go second, and then, like, side it in. It's funny, but all it really does is force a negate. Like, it's okay. And obviously we're playing the triple right, brick. I draw this card way too often. It's because it's not a super. That's why. This card is less of a brick when you see it because, like, technically there's times where I've just opened this and I'll just, like, activate its effect and then I'll activate to search right away and I'll just send one of the PKs out of my hand so I can banish it to search for something. Like, I can just ditch it to search for Enchantress, then I can Enchantress and then do all that sort of stuff. Like, opening this in Griffin's fine. Like, it's not... You can still play. Final monster, Scythe, because this combo is nasty. We'll get into it later. He's not even a brick, too, because if you open Dagda, or if you open him, then you just don't need to make Dagda, so. Power spells. Playing Droplet, because Droplet's insane, especially in this deck. Came up at an event where I played against a guy, game 3, and I drew Droplet for turn, and the dude used branded, I think it's Expulsion, to summon something to his field. I think it was Elbaz, and then Scythe. And then Scythe tried to activate, and I was like, yeah, Droplet. Send Enchantress from hand. And then that's free value, because then Enchantress can still activate, and you basically just got a free get to play the game. And I won the game because of it. It's so good. Have to play it, honestly. More extenders. I considered playing like Ghost Ogre in this, just because then you could have like another interruption if you open 2 E-Telly. But didn't really feel like it. Didn't really feel like I had the room for it. And playing the 1 Ghost Ogre felt like more of just a brick than anything else. But this is just really good. And then for the other last 3 power spells, you have your kind of standard Foolish, Rhoda, and Called By. Foolish is insane, obviously. Rhoda is insane. And then Called Bys comes up so often. Like, even if you don't even use a hand... Like, even if your opponent doesn't use a hand trap, you can technically set it. I always set it if I'm going against tier, because then they mill something and they go effect, and it's like, okay, I don't care which order you did things, I'm Called Buying whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just strong as shit. And then you're playing 4 traps, because we would be playing Imperms, but this is already 46 cards, and I'm trying to be consistent. These 2 are for the combo, and then these are for backup, because I wanted to have 4. That way, I would always be able to banish Boots. Like, Boots would always be live. Because the first combo, these are gone already. And then, so was one of your Boots. So then you have these 2, so no matter if you Boots later on, you will always have something to search for, assuming you didn't open this. Which, it happens, but this has never been a problem for me. Even seeing it going first, like, sure, whatever. Seeing it going second, you just ditch it, and then use it to summon a Phantom Knights from Grave. Like, it's great. So yeah, 46 cards. Honestly, the main deck I think is perfect. Like, I probably wouldn't change anything. It's really, really good. For the extra deck, got the 1 Levier. I'm not playing the Utopic Draco package because I didn't have space, and it also just didn't feel good. Like, it's definitely an option, but I kind of shied away from it. Definitely playable, though. So we got the 2 Breaksword. 1 for the combo, and you need another one for something else later on. It's useful. So here's the interesting stuff. So when Breaksword dies, you summon back the other 2 Phantom Knights, and you make 1 of these. So if you have the adventure stuff on board, you make Redoer. Because when you end up doing the Scythe combo, you won't have room to summon Scythe unless you banish Redoer. So you need to do that. With Nightmare, if you don't open the combo, you make Nightmare instead. Which sometimes it happens. And then Nightmare is really, really good against pretty much everything other than Tier. Against Tier, he kind of sucks. But then against like Sword Soul and Sprite, he's insane. And then obviously the Zeus package, because, I mean, what? You're not going to play this? Like, this card's won me games before, just by itself. It's insane. Dark's honestly a flex spot. He's kind of okay. Dagda, because that's combo. Cherubini combo. Bardiche combo. Unicorn for removing stuff. It's come up every now and then. He's kind of useful. Because I can't afford access code. The fact that access code is only got... It still has 2 printings, but it's still like... Well, I'm not going to play the gold, because gold's cringe. But the secret's still like $80, $90. So it's just like, okay, never mind. Appaloosa, it comes up where you clear their board, and then you can actually make like have enough to make more negates, because then usually like against tier they're not playing through a 3 material Apollos after you clear their board usually. And then jump scare, because too often at my locals that I go to, I play against decks that summon a monster that's like, oh, get over me. And it's like, all right, well, I'll flood my field. You don't have any negates or things to stop me. And then I just get rid of your guy. Like, it's like against Adignister or whatever. Just, it's great. It's great removal. That pretty much sums it up. For the side deck, just real quick, I got Harpies, because play against mine stuff, you want a way to stop it. If they beat cop you, sad. But, you know, sometimes it happens. And then we got this card, which honestly sucks. I'd probably take this out for something else. This is like the only thing that, like, in the side for sure that I would change. Because I just wanted something else for tier. But I'd probably change it for something else. I don't know what I would change it for now, but it just doesn't do enough. Because, like, discarding a card after you do your full combo doesn't work, because you don't have a hand. Also for mine decks, it's pretty strong against that stuff, because they activate another mine, and you're like, well, I got this card that says I can just pay to get rid of it. So, then triple D barrier, because... Oops, sorry, switched around a little bit. Triple D barrier, because against Sword Soul, against Tier... not so much against Sprite, but to a degree Sprite. It's just insane. Like, you literally just call whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, you go Tier, Fusion, cool, pass, my turn. Like, it's just a turn skip. Nib for, like, rogue shit, and for Tier, mainly. This is for Runix and Sword Soul, because Sword Soul, they can't Vishuda, like the Tenny stuff. And then Runix can only activate the summon from deck, or the summon from extra deck, so they don't even get to, like, really play. And it's really, 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 really good. Like, it's insane. The time card. It's cringe. It's cringe, I know. But the whole point of this is literally, if you know you're going to go into time, you side this in, and then when you do the whole combo, you use Graph to summon back this into Cherubini's Zone, and then link those two into Bardiche, and then you use Barbar to banish some things, so you have damage on the board. And then you just proceed to continue comboing, which takes about, 2-3 minutes. And then, you go on a time, oops, I win. It's really cringe, and I hate it. Like, I hate the fact that I have to play this, but it's come up so often that it validates it for me, where it's like, I hate it, because the time rules suck. Like, I'll be the first to say it, but I hate the time rules. But anyways, yeah, well, we'll just jump right into the combo here, and give you guys an idea of what you can expect from the deck. Alright, so here we are on Yugioh Pro to show you guys the combo. I figured it'd be easier to do it on here. Just kind of give you guys an example of how it all plays out. So, to do the full combo, you don't really need Enchantress. Enchantress is just added protection. But you need at least a name and an extender. So we'll start off with Enchantress effect to search for right. And then we will use right's effect to... I usually put the token here because the way the zones lay out, it usually makes more sense to put it underneath there. And so we're already at this point. Beautiful. Now, normal summon. Then that activates the effect to Fateful, which adds the Draco back. Add it to your hand. Then, of course, you got to activate Fateful's effect. Searching for Griffin. Then you discard Draco back, and that targets, or activates, targeting the token, summoning itself, and then you can chain Griffin Rider here if you want. Doesn't matter. Put it there. Go there. Now you have a negate set up already. Unfortunately, there's been times where I've been, like, Nib Veilered, where that it doesn't work. But in theory, this is great, and then we're good. So then, continuing on, special summon. Turn these two into Cherubini. Activate this effect, which sends a card for cost, which is insane, by the way, because people will try to, like, negate you, and it's like, okay, sure, it doesn't matter. And you go Graph effect. Summon Seer to here. Needs to be right here, otherwise he blows up because of these guys. And then make Bardiche here. Then Seer effect activates. Target Cherubini. Summon Shrewdney here is generally where I like to go. And then now is where you have a little bit to do. It's not a lot of thinking, but a little. So we know that in our graveyard, we opened up with Cloak. So in the situation that you open up with Torn Scales, you send any name minus Greaves that isn't Scales. But if you open... So we open Cloak, so we have to send Scales here. So any name that isn't Scales is in the graveyard, then you have to send a Scales. But it's kind of it's hard to explain. But essentially, if you open Scales, you send not Scales. If you don't open Scales, you send Scales. So go Bardiche effect. Griffin, stop trying to negate my cards. Sending Scales to set Shade Brigandine, which we then immediately activate just because we can. Do this. And we go into our artifact Dagda. We will then activate the effect of Cloak, banishing itself, searching for our copy of Boots. And that will trigger our effect of Scales. And no, I will not negate it. Now here, technically this is still full combo, technically. However, what I would normally... So I'm like... I didn't show it because it's technically a 2-card combo because you just need one other card in hand to discard here. So technically what you would do is use effect of Torn Scales to send literally any other Phantom Knight, generally Gloves, and just discard a card. You kind of have to here. And then, so you do that, and then you special summon this. Because like you can do the full combo without it, except you won't have the other trap because you'll see here in a second. Because then we go here into Break Sword, like this. That triggers Bardiche, which we then use to destroy the Break Sword, which we will then use to trigger Dagda, and not negate it. We'll set Scythe here. So Break Sword goes to the grave, effect. And so here, the reason why we cannot do it any longer is, well, so like technically you can, but it's not quite the same. We'll show you. So do this and this. Not going to negate that. Summon here. Summon here. And then we make Redoer here. Now technically we can just activate Redoer here. But that kind of sucks because then you don't get any value out of him. But assuming you don't have a card to discard or anything like that, then sure. We go Redoer effect. Banish itself. It's whatever. Then... go effect, go for wing, and set wing. So the reason why you'd like to have the discard is because then this would already be in the ban or here, so you could just banish it and search, and then Redoer could stay on the field, so you could take a card out of your opponent's deck that in the standby and hope you hit generally a spell. You really just want to hit a spell, so you get the draw. But that's essentially full combo here. Because now we go end phase. Redoer comes back. Doesn't matter. It's essentially irrelevant. Technically in standby, you can activate Redoer here to equip still, which is cool. But now you can't banish it to get it out of the way, which is why this does suck a little bit. Because unfortunately, we can't even full combo now because the Redoer came back. So technically, you always need the discard. Because here... Can I activate my cards, please? Game. Okay, well, so you'd go wings, because you can do this during their standby. You go wings, you target that, and then you'd go wing, target Break Sword, summon it here, and that would trigger Bardiche, which you then use to pop the Scythe, which would summon itself because Redoer would be gone, and then summoning Scythe, and that's full combo. But unfortunately, because of I'm playing against an AI, it's not going to work because LOL. But that's, yeah. And so it sucks because you lose against Super Poly really hard because you'll usually have the Redoer and the Bardiche. So generally getting rid of the Redoer before standby or like before main phase is really important. But then even if they, you summon Break Sword and activate Bardiche effect, then they super poly you. Like, it still sucks, but it's fine. Dark Ruler just really sucks because you need Bardiche to be active, and you can't respond to anything with that, which also sucks. But yeah, then, you know, say here we are in the next turn. We have a bounce. If we haven't used Griffin, we have Griffin. All this stuff to play with. We will have a graveyard with essentially, if Bardiche is still alive, you can still send something to make Torrent Scales live again, and a good way to continue playing. But yeah, so that's essentially the full combo. I know it's a little convoluted, and you know, it's not perfect while playing on EDO Pro here, but yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and if you guys want to see more, let me know. And if you want me to go into more in-depth on it, I will. I feel like I kind of explain everything for the most part. But again, can't really play this in the new format because the Bisted cards are just quick effect against Darker Light. So, you know, they get hit the Scythe out of the grave, they hit whatever, like you just can't play against them. And they're going to be incredibly popular, so especially with like D-Link. But anyways, yeah, catch you guys in the next video, and take care. Peace.